Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through hands-on demonstration on how to provision AWS EC2 instance running on what we call Windows operating system. So if you haven't watched my previous video, I have explained the concept on a higher level. What is EC2 instance for you to be able to understand whilst we are provisioning this EC2 instance. So during the provision, I also explained various concepts as we move along. So let me switch to my AWS Management Console, and then we will start with this provisioning. So let me log into my AWS console. All I'm interested in is to EC2 instance. So search for EC2. Okay, you can open as a new tab. Okay, go to EC2, and what I'm interested is I'm going to launch an instance. Basically, I'm going to create a copy of a running virtual machine. Okay, and I will pick how powerful I want this machine to be. By that I mean I'll pick my instance type. Okay, I'll go further to select my operating system using what we call pre-configured template of the image called the OS. It will have alongside certain application already embedded in that. Okay, I will choose my block storage, which is the volume. In a layman's terms, like the hard drive attached to this instance. So basically, you are literally building your own computer over the internet. In this situation, we are going to pick an operating system or OS called Windows. Right. When we're done, we'll move it to what we call the security. We're going to set a firewall rules using what we call security groups. Okay, we will skip this. We will not provision what we call elastic IP. Elastic IP are public static IP that you can provision and attach to your instance in such a way that when you stop your instance or you reboot it, you're not gonna lose your public IP. It is a static one. I'm not going to create one. We will disregard that. In the next video, we will explain this later and then provision elastic IP. Keeper, think about it as username password. Okay, so we have the public key running on the instance, and then the private key we are going to manage it on my own local machine. Okay, we're not going to look into load balancers and the rest and the target group. That is another video that I will deal with together with what we call auto scaling group. Right. So on high level, we're going to be touching on some of this component part of EC2 instance. So let's launch this, and then what we are interested in is to give it a name. Let's tag it. Let's label this. Okay. So this belongs to the QA team. Okay. So QA hyphen Windows. Yeah. Let's call it like that. Oh, need to learn how to spell Windows. We will pick our operating system as Windows operating system. Like I said, we will leave everything the way it is. Okay, keep going down. This is how powerful you want it. Okay, by that we mean your CPU. How many CPU do you want? Your memory, your networking, it all comes with the instant type. Key pair for you to securely connect the instance. So in this case, we're going to create one for the Windows RDP. Basically, it's going to tend to be username and password. Okay, let's create one and let's call it the keys. Let's give it a quick simple name. Yeah, we leave it in the PEM, and then what we need to do is create. When I create it, you will see it will be downloaded onto my local machine. By that, the onus is on me for me to manage this key, rotate them securely as frequently as I can. Okay, so I'll say create. See, it got downloaded on my local machine. Okay, that's the key. The networking, we're going to provision this into a default network. What we will do is to provision what we call security group and allow RDP connection as a port to come in. Okay, So the RDP, we're going to allow from anywhere. So RDP connection allow from anywhere. Okay, all you can do, you can zero it down. You can button this down to what we call your own IP, or what we call the custom range of IP. Okay, but for learning purposes, let's open it up for the rest of the world. Okay, what is next is the storage. So we have option to pick what we call the SSD, general purpose, GP free, GP2, or provision IOPS. Okay, so for our learning purposes, let's pick the default for GP free. Okay, let's move all the way, and what we are interested in, we're not gonna go into the advanced. Let's launch this instance. Yeah. So basically, you are requesting over the internet, you're reaching out to AWS, is right. Can I please have an EC2 running on Windows? Okay, and I want it to be provisioned in the London region. So this server or this virtual machine is actually running on a dedicated physical machine somewhere in London in what we called availability zones. So in that physical server, AWS is in charge of managing it, making sure that they are available at all time, they are secure at all time. But we are going to manage this virtual machine. It's like a mini machine running on a bigger machine. So virtual machine. Okay. So let's check the instance, check the status, how it's doing. Ignore what I've terminated. What I'm interested in is the running. It's still in the initialization stage, checking the status and that. Okay. So let's check the box and look at some detail. You have your ID of the instance, your public IP, the status is running, but remember, it's checking the availability of the instance, making sure everything is up and running. Okay, you have your public IP. Like I said, we didn't provision elastic IP. Okay, we will leave that to the next video. VPC, this is a default VPC with a default subnet. Okay, there isn't any IAM role or instant role profile attached to this. If you're able to do that, that will give the instant permission to be able to do whatever it needs to do within your AWS environment. The instant can assume a role. Okay, we don't have any situation like that. Okay, we have the ARN. This is the Amazon resource name of the instance that we have it on here. Okay, that is the details. The status, which is what is initializing here. For now, you can see the system status check is still initializing. The instance status check is still initializing. Okay, so when this is 10 to 2 out of 2, it means all the status check with regards to the system, and then the instance has been checked. Okay, you have your monitoring. Okay, you can check the monitoring of your EC2 instance. Again, your security group. Okay, the one that we provision has been attached. Okay, let's refresh this for a bit, and then now we have the status check complete. Right, our next bit is, let's see how we're going to connect and then remote RDP into this. So connect, what we're interested is remote connection using remote desktop protocol client or session manager. We don't have the capacity to do session manager. Windows server, therefore let's do RDP into this server. So connect. Again, if you don't have what we call the remote desktop client, you can download the copy. Okay, just click on the download and you'll be able to copy. I've got mine. This is my C Windows app. Okay, I'm able to connect using that. Okay, this is the username. Okay, we need to decrypt the password. So the password, remember we didn't create any password. We created key pair, which is the public key and the private key. The public key will be sat on the instance. The private key got downloaded onto my machine. Therefore, we are going to decrypt it and get the password out of the private key. Okay, so what we're interested in, say, um, get password, and then we are going to upload the private key, which we call it the Q, isn't it? So let's look for the Q in the start one. That's the key, private key. You upload it. Yeah. Once you upload it, you decrypt. The password has been decrypted. So this is the password. Yeah. So let me copy that. The admin name. Okay. Go back to my remote desktop app. Okay. For here, I've got nothing. What I can do is to add and then add workspace. Okay. So when I'm adding the workspace, what I'm interested in is to the URL. I need to copy the public DNS. So let's grab it. So click on that, copy, go back to my remote app, and then I'm going to paste it here. Okay. Right. If this is taking a while, I think we can have another option of connecting it. Let's cancel that one and go back to create. And what we need to do is let's add as a PC. Okay, easier way. Pick on here, paste your public IP or the DNS of the server. Okay, well, again, we are interested in, we are going to connect, leave the rest the way it is, and we are going to connect. Okay, let's connect to this. Okay, and this is it. So let's click on that and open it. Yeah, and then it's gonna ask you the username. Go back to the instance. This is the username. Pick it up. Go back to the remote RDP. Paste the name here. Okay, that's the username. Go back and pick the password that we decrypt. Come back to the remote and then paste the password here. Okay, we are going to connect, and then we are happy to continue and connect. Give it a minute for it to pre-configure everything, and this is our Windows setting up running on my Mac machine. Okay, I'm using the remote desktop and I'm securely connecting to the Windows server running in AWS in a data center in London area. Okay, give it a minute for it to do what we call the personal settings. Once it's done, I will walk you around and then we will end the session. Okay, right. So this is the window, desktop that we have. Okay, you can see we have our recycling bin, we have your Edge, Microsoft Edge. So this is the EC2, we're running on the EC2. Again, let's go into the Edge, for example. Okay, so when you have this, you'll be able to connect and run your anything you want to use it for. It's a Windows server, you can connect and run it. Okay, let's show you something quickly. Let's start. Okay, so literally this is Windows machine. You can use it and connect to anywhere you want. Let's type something like BBC here, and then let's see what is in the news, for example, for today. Okay, so literally I'm running on a virtual machine, a Windows virtual machine, and this is what I get. Okay, all right. Okay, so this is the end of the session, but before we go, let's terminate the instance, okay, and we'll be able to summarize what we've done today. So let's quickly escape that and then go to my instance, come back here, let's go to instance, and then what I'm interested is this box is checked. I'm going to go to the status and I'm going to terminate. I don't need it again. So this is the beauty of having a virtual machine. Okay, I don't need it, I terminate it and it's gone. Okay, basically sending it back to AWS. I'm finished using it, take it back. Okay, right. So again, this is the end of the session. It was I believe I will say you've learned something. Okay, please comment on the video, share them, like them, and then again, if you want me to do specific video, please let me know, and I'm happy to do that. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Happy learning. Bye bye.